I don't know about you, but every time I heard the word Europe, I immediately thought of countries like Germany, Finland, Denmark, Netherlands, etc. But I didn't realize that Europe is much more than the 4 or 5 countries that I thought of when I thought of Europe. Now, thanks to my work at Globology, I've been able to explore most of EU countries and have decided to now make a series of moving to Europe, but looking beyond the conventional European countries that you think of. Today's video is part 1 of that series and will cover an unconventional European country that could be your pathway to Europe. If you are interested, stick around. Hello and namaste, my name is Nidhi Nagori and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you so much for doing so. And if you are a regular viewer or if you've seen any of my videos before, thank you so much for spending time with me yet again. My name is Nidhi. I'm a finance professional, a digital creator, and also the CEO and founder of Globology. At Globology, our mission is simple: careers beyond borders. Anyone, anywhere in the world should be able to make it global. And to help your going global dreams come true, we offer a variety of solutions: job support service, direct placements, permanent residency for working professionals and businessmen, and many more such offerings. Please check the description box to learn more about Globology. Now, for very long, I've been meaning to create a series of countries which are unconventional, not a preferred pathway, but can lead to similar results in terms of your migration dreams. While I'm starting off from Europe, which is entirely based on my work experience in Europe, I'm happy to cover more continents or countries as we go by. So if there are any unconventional countries that you think I've not covered before or you've not seen a lot of creators talk about, let me know in the comments below and I'll make sure I cover them. For today's country, we have Serbia. Now, I know when I say the term Serbia, a lot of eyebrows will be raised because it's quite an unconventional pathway. But like I said, it can get you to the same European dreams that you've been dreaming of. So first, let's talk about where is Serbia. Now, Serbia is a landlocked country. It's in the Balkans, which means it is in the Central and Southeast Europe. Contrary to what a lot of people believe, Serbia does not share a border with Russia. It actually shares most of its borders with Schengen countries. Now, Serbia is not a Schengen country, but that is not a problem if you use the right pathways. If you use the right pathways, you can still get to Europe via Serbia. In terms of some basic information, the capital is Belgrade, the currency is Serbian dinar, and it's a very small country with just 6 million people in it. Now that I've introduced Serbia to you, I'm going to segregate this video into pros and cons. First, we're going to talk about the pros of Serbia, and then we're going to talk about cons. The first pro, according to me, is easy visa process. Now, in Feb 2024, Serbia made online filing its natural mode for getting any kind of employment visa. This is not a pathway that most European countries follow. So what this means is you get your work permit, you get your accommodation, if any document, you get the company letter. So once you get everything from your employer in a package, you or the employer could go and apply for your permit approval online. And once the approval comes, you can walk into a Serbian embassy, submit your passport, and wait for the visa to be stamped. You do not typically need any visa appointment to get your passport stamped with a Serbian visa, which honestly makes Serbia a very compelling destination for many countries, especially where Schengen or EU country appointments are not easily available. Serbia is amazing because the whole process is done online and you're not truly sitting and waiting for the visa appointments to come by. The second pro, according to me, is huge number of permits available. Just looking at last year, we saw that the Serbian government issued almost 34,000 work permits and resident permits to foreigners in 2024. Now, if you compare this number to countries which are of similar size, say the Nordic countries like Sweden, Norway, Finland, or even Ireland for that matter, they've all issued much lesser work permits than Serbia did. In fact, the Nordic countries have actually issued just 1/3 of the number of work permits that Serbia issued in 2024. So while the demand for foreign workers exists across EU, a critical factor that you should consider when choosing your country is where is it easier to get a work permit? Which country is more willing to give a work permit? And clearly Serbia seems to be a winner on that front. The third pro, according to me, is that roles are available for both men and women. That's not what we're seeing across a lot of EU countries, because a lot of EU countries are earmarking visas specifically for skills and shortages that are existing in the labor market. For example, construction industry is a big player, and a lot of visas in many EU countries have been earmarked to the construction industry. Now, a lot of these countries only allow men to work in the construction sector. So of course, if any other gender that we're thinking of, they will not be able to apply for construction jobs, making it even more difficult for them to get a work permit and a visa approval. At this point, I want to add a disclaimer. By no means am I saying you have to be in construction to get a visa somewhere. All that I'm saying is it's easier for you to get a visa without a lot of rejection or questions being asked if you're applying for construction jobs in EU. But Serbia is not like that. From our own experience, we've seen that there are roles available for hospitality, warehouses, and construction. Next and final pro, according to me, is that it can be one of the quickest pathways to get temporary status in the EU. Even though Serbia is not Schengen, this can still happen. How? So remember I told you the visa process of Serbia is completely done online, and it is one of the quickest processing countries anyway. So 2 to 4 months, you can get your visa and you can fly out. Once you get your TRC in Serbia, temporary residence card, you would be eligible to get a visa for Schengen Zone without making it back to your home country. So you don't really have to come back to your home country. You can be pulled out straight from Serbia and sent off to any other Schengen country. Of course, you would want to get a TRC in Serbia and you do not want to leave Serbia before that. If you're willing to do that, you're looking at getting a Schengen job rather quickly. Always remember that Serbia is an EU country based on its geographical location, and anybody in Serbia has easy access to Schengen Zone compared to those who are not in the Schengen Zone. All right, that's a lot of pros. So what are the cons of moving to Serbia? Well, first, like I said, it's not Schengen country. So a lot of people don't feel comfortable with the idea of exploring a country which is not a Schengen country. A Schengen country will obviously give you access to a lot of opportunities in different countries around them upfront, which Serbia might not be able to. And like I mentioned, it's a small country, so you will initially feel restricted until you get your TRC. The second con, according to me, is that the salaries are much lower than what we see in the Schengen area. In our experience, we're seeing a 30 to 50% lesser salary range in Serbian jobs as opposed to Lithuania or Latvia or Slovakia or Germany. The third con, which I think honestly is the biggest con in my opinion, is that Serbia has just opened up its borders, so it is not as diverse as you would expect a Germany or a France to be. This is not a country that has historically had huge levels of immigration. It's just opening up. We're seeing immigrants move in right now, so it'll take some time for it to become diverse. And until it becomes entirely diverse, you might end up getting more homesick than you'd want to. Also, there's another con about Serbia that I want to be upfront about. I feel that Serbia is one of the toughest countries to find a job in if you're looking from outside of EU. If you take a Germany or Finland or Denmark, there are so many government resources that are already available to help you find opportunities, whether you are in Europe or not. That's not the case with Serbia. Even if you do a quick search online for regular corporate roles, you don't really see a lot of results. So you truly have to be heavily networked. You must know the language. You must be able to break the cultural barriers if you want to do it yourself. Because from what we see right now, most of the hiring in Serbia is relationship based. If you know the employer, if the employer knows you, nothing can beat that. But even though finding a job can be tricky in a country like Serbia, I would hate to leave you without options. If you want to do a job search yourself, I'll leave 3 amazing websites up on the screen that you can look into and look for roles there, find relevant opportunities and apply. You can also use this to make a list of employers that are hiring in your field, reach out to them on LinkedIn, connect and present your profile. And if you think that's a lot of work, we're here to help. We're doing hiring for some roles in Serbia. I'm going to show some of the visas and work permits on screen. Please take a look at our success stories and the roles that we have been able to get for our people. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description box for you to check out. You can fill in your information and our team from Globology will be in touch with Serbian options for you. And on that note, this video has come to an end. I hope you enjoyed this myth-busting video about EU. I hope to create more videos like these. So if there's any uncharted territory on the planet that you are keen to explore, let me know in the comments and I'll choose a country from there and cover it in my next video. Also, let me know your thoughts on Serbia. I promise to see you in the next video. Until then, please take care of yourself. Stay safe. Namaste.